Hello again, I am Jim Bob and welcome back to Lone Oak Farm. You join me as I am stacking bales. These are the hay bales that we made yesterday while we were kind of waiting for the soybean market to improve, and improve it certainly did. A great day yesterday. We brought in $600,000 for the soybean sale yesterday. A great payoff, absolutely fantastic. Really am incredibly pleased with the way that turned out, because that's given us so many possibilities for what we can do with our farm going forward. It's almost halved our debt. We were around $1.4 million in debt yesterday. We're now, thanks to money from the orchard that's been coming in, and thanks to our soybean sale, we now have a debt of $750,000 with the bank. So we are looking very, very healthy, compared to where we were this time yesterday. Much more healthy. And with the cows in as well, that's a new source of income for us going forward, with the milk money that we'll get every day. So we are looking very, very good indeed going forward. Though we left the bales out last night because we've had glorious weather, we haven't had a hint of rain all summer, but I'm sure at some point we will get some kind of little spattering of rain popping up, and I don't want to leave them out to rot. So we're stacking, oops, hit the rocks there. We're stacking all of the bales that we pulled off the field last night, and there's still a whole load on the field that need to be collected as well. Some of which will be going over to the sheep farm, and depending on how quickly we fill up the space in our shed, we might be selling some of the rest of them off as well, because we have got a lot. I didn't actually count to see how many bales I made yesterday. Probably should have done, but it's a lot. An awful lot. Probably more than we're going to need for the cows at any rate. And we do, as I say, need some for the sheep, but we also need to increase our straw bale count. We have, I think, 15 straw bale, well 14 or 13 now actually. One in the cow barn itself, and then 12 stacked up. So we only have 12 straw bales left for the rest of the year, all the way through to next summer if we don't harvest any more straw this year. So we need to make sure we have space for straw bales, and I don't think we're going to have much of a bale limit left, if any, if I'm honest, because we've still got a few silage bales left, as you can see, and those ones I think I'm probably just going to leave as they are, so we can mix up some TMR as we need to do. I don't know. I haven't decided whether to shred those or not yet. I might do, I might not do. Yeah, there we go. So I'm just kind of stacking these right now, getting them here out the way. As you can see, I've done a few already. We've still got plenty more in that little pile by the office that need to be moved. And there are a lot more on the shed, on the field, that we still need to put into the shed as well. Yeah, an awful lot more. So this is going to keep me busy for quite some time. But once this is done and we have a full trailer load, we're going to take 24 bales over to the sheep farm. Once those are all done, we will call in at Manning's, because we're going to be ordering a new tractor. We won't get it today because we've still got to wait for it to be delivered, but that should hopefully be available to us tomorrow, and we are going to get ourselves a case Optim. It sits nicely between the Puma and the Magnum, and we don't need anything bigger than the Magnum for our farm, or at least not really. I mean, it was nice to have the Magnum, the quad track, while our Magnum was down, but it is very big. It's very expensive, not just to buy but also to run, in terms of its maintenance cost, how much fuel it eats, and I just don't see a need for it really. Anything that the Magnum can, anything the quad track can do, our Magnum can do, at least on our farm anyway. We don't need anything as powerful as that, as a long-term feature on our farm. So the Magnum is our kingpin tractor. That's all we need in terms of a power limit. It puts out around, 440 horsepower now. Now that we've uprated it to a 380, and I don't think we're ever going to need anything bigger. But the Optum is a bit more powerful than the Puma. So it's not too powerful that it's kind of a waste if we put it to work doing things like baling or windrowing, which is kind of what we need. We need something to help support the Puma with the farm work. It means we can get the Puma kind of to focus more on running the yard now with the cows and some of the other jobs that will need it. Specifically, on mowing, etc. The Puma can kind of concentrate more on that stuff, and the Optum can help support it doing that as well. Plus, with the Optum's slightly higher power band, if we do need to help out with cultivating or seeding, the Optum should hopefully be able to help the Magnum pick up some of that slack as well, because it has got enough power to be able to work most of the stuff on our farm, just obviously not as well as our Magnum will do. So it's a nice middle range tractor for us. We've got the Puma, we've got the Magnum, and the Optum's going to sit very nicely in between the two of those. So we'll get that ordered today, and hopefully when that arrives tomorrow we'll have to press that into immediate service. We're also going to order another set of rollers today, one without the seed tank on it, so that we can get an AI worker to help us out with the rolling, because it does take a long time to roll our grass fields. So if we can get an AI worker doing part of it and we're doing the rest, we can turn that over a lot quicker and free up time to do other jobs, which is kind of what we need to do. There we go. So that's 2 trailers worth of bales stacked in there now. So that's 48 bales in there. Let's go grab some more off the field. So I'm just going to park this just here, like so. Let's jump into the Magnum that's parked up around the corner. I refilled this early, well, refueled it, because it was pretty much empty. Only about 80 litres of fuel left in it. And it's a pretty thirsty little tractor, so it would have run out at some point today had we not done that. We also need to get on with the spraying today as well. We've only got a few fields that left that need some attention. They're all in stage 2 or stage 3 fertilisation, so the ones that are stage 3, obviously they're done. We can leave those till they're ready to grow, and most of those are now in their final growth stage. So I'm thinking the last 2 days, so days 5 and 6, we might possibly start seeing some crops growing. If not, it'll be into the beginning of autumn, which will be a shame, because if we can get some stuff ready for harvest tomorrow, we've got good weather for the next couple of days. If they're not ready until the first day of autumn, that's more of a problem, because as you can see, the first 2 days of autumn are wet. Now we've got 2 days in the middle of autumn where we've got great sunshine, and then the rain's coming back again on day 5. So I kind of hope maybe we'll get some more sun on day 5. But I don't know. It depends just how wet it's going to be. And we've got a lot of fields that are going to start piling up very quickly if we can't get some harvesting done at the end of summer. Very quickly indeed. So, yeah, fingers crossed we'll actually be okay on that. Otherwise, we might need to look at getting a second harvester to speed up our harvesting operation. And that's a big expense. That's 330,000 plus another trailer, so about 340,000 or so in total for a second harvester to be brought to our farm, which is a lot of money. Let's get those back on the trailer like that. I need to figure out where I'm going to stop these bales off. I might drop them off in the same place, but I suppose we could try and get them a little bit closer to the cow shed. That might be a bit easier. And I must remember as well, one of these trailers needs to stay loaded, because that's going to go over to the sheep farm so that we can get our sheep well stocked and fed. I think I'll leave them just here. If I leave them just here, like that, then the Puma can get them nice and easily and take them into the shed. I've got space for another one of those piles before I get a little bit pushed for space. And then we'll get those stacked. We'll load up the next couple of trailers. I'm going to sell some of these hay bales as well, because I do need to make space for more straw. We don't have a lot of space left on our bale limit, if any at all. So I've got a definite need to sell some of these hay bales. I don't think we're going to need over 100 bales as well for TMR purposes. I mean, 75 cows is a lot, but I don't think they're going to go through 75 bales worth of hay. Not when I'm currently using a ratio of 3 parts silage to 1 part hay. Now obviously having a large quantity of one over the other gives us a degree of flexibility, and then we can kind of balance that mix out to a 50-50 mix, or flip it the other way and do 75% hay and 25% silage, depending on what our stocks of each product are like. So there could come a point where we do start burning through a lot more hay than we are doing at the moment for TMR products, or TMR stocks, but we're not there yet. So we do need to kind of balance things out a little bit. Right, one more bale and this trailer's done. There we go. So that's pretty much our order of play today, is to sort out our bales, sort out our spraying, get that done, order a new tractor, and I'm not sure what else needs to be done. I've already stocked up the orchard. That did run out last night, and I did that first thing this morning before I started work here on the bales. So the orchard is back up and running again. And obviously our money got paid off to the bank as well, so that's why we don't have, you know, several $100,000 in our account right now. That money went straight into the bank to try and appease the manager and say, you know, we are looking to pay this loan off. You know, we're not just sitting here, you know, with no intention of paying it back. I think those 2 trailers, that might be enough. That'll be, let's see, that'll be 96 bales in total here at the farm, and then these 24 will go over to the sheep, and that might be more than we'll need. We are going to bring some more sheep onto the farm in autumn when the price is at their lowest. So mid-autumn is when it's going to be the best time for us to buy new sheep. The most expensive time, as you would imagine, is early spring, when they are producing wool and they are also breeding as well. So that's a very, very expensive time to bring them in, and they're kind of falling away a little bit now. They're getting lower and lower, but the price bottoms out in mid-autumn. So we'll do it then. We'll save as much money as we possibly can. I also want to speak to Sam about maybe replacing our animal trailer and getting a larger trailer, because, you know, we found out from experience that the Betimax just hasn't got a big enough capacity. So let's see. These are my sheep bales, and I'm going to stack these on the edge of the field, and then we're going to run the rest of those over to the barn. There we go. So those are for sheep. They're not to be touched. And then we can load that trailer up once we've sold everything else and take them over to the sheep farm. So how many have I got to actually sell? Let's see. Might be another trailer's worth. Might be more than a trailer's worth. It's going to be pretty close to a full trailer. Slightly over or slightly under, one of those. We'll see. $22. Now I do have a couple of leftover hay bales already, so I need 2 more. Now I can get 2 more and make this a full trailer. So for that, I'm just going to quickly nip back over here, because we've still got a few hay bales left in the little shed where we've been storing our straw. Now I need to make sure that we have space for more straw bales, both in terms of physical space and the bale limit, which is why we're selling off that trailer there. And then those last couple of bales we'll use, I think, to mix up a batch of TMR. So let's get those extra bales out so we can sell a full trailer. This could be a bit awkward getting in here. We should be alright. We've got 4 in there. There we go. I only need 2. And can I get out of here? I can't get out that way. I'm going to have to squeeze my way through here. I need to figure out where I'm going to store that animal trailer. Well, not that one, you know, the replacement as well. So that'll be interesting to do. There's all our silage piled up that we were shredding, collecting after we shredded those bales yesterday. And I don't know what to do with those silage bales. We may well end up shredding those as well if we have a need for more straw bales and not enough space for them. So let's drop these here. They should automatically stack. I think I've got to be in the Magnum. And there we go. So we have bales to stack in the shed still. We have bales to sell. And we're going to go and do the selling first at the barn. And then we're going to grab these bales that we stacked on the edge of the field. We're going to take those to the sheep. I can do the stacking back at the yard a little bit later. And while we're taking these to the sheep, we're going to call in at Manning's and we're going to order our new Optum and our new roller. And yes, there we go. They automatically loaded. So let's position the bales. Get them about right. Unload them there. Straps on. Off we go. Okay, so we've sold one trailer of bales, made a nice little bit of cash for that. Nothing amazing, but it all adds up, doesn't it? And here we are with a trailer here for our sheep. Now we are a little limited on space, and I did have them stacked up against the wall last year, but I only had 12 stacked up last year. Now I've got 24. That's a fair few more. And I'm starting to wonder whether I'm actually going to have space to store these over here. What I might need to do is find some space for a little shed to be constructed somewhere where I can store bales. The question is, where can I put it? There really isn't a lot of space around here for much of anything, unfortunately. And there's no way I can really feasibly stick 24 bales in there. It's a shame that we don't have an overhead storage bay in here that I could lift bales up to, and then I could perhaps have invested in something like a telehandler and lifted them onto the roof area, the upstairs storage. We don't have one of those on this farm, so yeah, a little bit of a shame. But we'll make do with what we've got. So before we do anything else, let's just tend to the sheep while we're here, because I think they are in need of a little bit of love, a little bit of TLC. Let's have a quick look, actually. Yeah, you can see their cleanliness is bad. They could do with another bale. They're okay for water, but we may as well top that up as well while we're here. I want to keep them nice and healthy. Don't want a repeat of last year where I forgot to feed them and their health dropped by about 15%. Otherwise, we would be at 100%, healthy sheep right now, and they would be producing incredibly well for us. They are down on what they could be doing, simply because they've had to build their health back up again through my lack of attention. The other alternative I've got is to possibly, I don't know, maybe stack some in this corner perhaps, or maybe stack them here in between. I don't know. It's really tight in here, so I don't think that's going to be a worthwhile place that we can look at. The only other option is in here, but again, it's limited space in here. I suppose we could do, if I stack them the right way, I could probably get enough in here. Probably do with some auto stacking forks, actually. I might have to bring the Puma up here to stack them in here for me. Or I think more likely a better solution would be to go and loan a pair of good spikes from auto bale spikes, auto load spikes from Manning's. So we're going to call in there on the way back. I think we'll see about getting a pair of auto load spikes for our Bobcat on lease while we're at it. That'll only probably cost us a couple of $100, nothing too over the top. It's one bale. Will it take the other one? No, it won't, but I'll leave it there just to make things easier for the actual stacking process. Right, I'll get these guys watered and then we'll call in on Sam, and we'll leave the trailer there like that for now. We can return it later. So we've done what we needed to do. We've had a very expensive conversation with Sam. He's going to be charging us quite a bit of money for the purchases that we're making. He gave us a rebate of around $17,000 as a credit note towards the cost of a new animal trailer by trading in our Betamax. Our new animal trailer is going to cost us around 25 grand. So cost us about 8 grand essentially for our brand new animal trailer. That's not too bad. It's only costing us about $200 or so to lease these forks for the next couple of days, and I'm going to try and stack them just here, these bales. We might end up putting some on that back wall there, but I figure if I can squeeze them in here against these spare planks of wood that we don't need, we're not going to need access to these, so we can stack all of our bales in here like this. It might make things a little bit easier. Just have to be wary. I mean, obviously we don't have a tractor up here anymore. It's going to need, maintenance checking, so the only thing that is going to need to go through our little work bay is our Bobcat. So that'll help things out in that respect. And if I can get these nicely stacked in here, I figure I can get all 24 bales in here without too much of an issue. Just push those forward a touch. There we go. We've got a new animal trailer that we should hopefully be able to get a little later this afternoon. Sam has promised he'll be able to get it by close of business, maybe a little bit earlier, but there's no rush on the animal trailer because we've moved all the animals we need to for a little while, so it'll be there and we'll use it when we need to. We just won't need to for a little while. Not probably till mid-fall when we look to buy some additional sheep. We have also ordered a CVX 300 Optum. So of the two models that we could have gone for, the 270 and the 300, we went for the slightly more powerful one. That'll give us around 313 horsepower or so. So a nice, decent amount of power. A little bit of a surplus against the seeder, so it can help out with seeding duties if necessary. And that is going to cost me around about $250,000. Or has cost me $250,000. That money's already gone out of the account. And we have also ordered a new set of rollers. Well, I say new, it's an old set of rollers. And that's the same type, or the same brand as the ones we already have, but comes without a seed box. So we will be able to get a worker to actually use those, no problem at all, on a field. And they've cost us 14 grand. And Sam is going to have those delivered to the farm within the next hour or so. So yeah, quite an expensive afternoon. We've spent, well, let's see, 250 plus the 8 for the trailer, plus the 14 for the rollers. It's 270,000, give or take, a couple of $1,000s. Not a cheap afternoon at all, but we'll make that money back. The amount of money we made just off our soybean was incredible. We've got more soybean this year, so next year we could be looking at a very bumper summer indeed. Plus we've now got the added income from our cows, from milk sales. It's not going to be staggeringly high for the first day or so. And it's kind of at the time of the year when milk is being used to rear new cows as well. So we're not going to have huge supplies of milk, but later in the year, those our milk profits should start going up. I think spring is the best time of year for milk sales. And of course we still have our orchard. So until that kind of shuts down towards the end of autumn, that's pumping out a nice bit of cash for us on a daily basis. So we'll easily recover the money that we've spent on our new equipment, relatively quickly. And of course we still have all the rest of our crops to sell later in the year, sort of around winter time, and silage to sell towards the end of sort of towards the end of autumn, maybe into the beginning of winter, maybe towards the end of winter once the snow's cleared, if there is any. So we have plenty of ways to bring some additional funds into our farm, and who knows, we may even look at upgrading our equipment a little bit more as the year rolls on, or maybe in the off season we might replace a couple of things to make next year a really bumper year. Who knows? We'll see how things kind of shake out. I've got a worker spraying away for me on field 45 at the moment. When he's done, we'll reallocate it to another field, and then once we finish stacking bales at the farm, we'll go and do some manual spraying ourselves. We do need to make sure that fields 5 and 6, our 2 corn chaffing fields, get sprayed today, because I think they may possibly be ready for chaffing tomorrow. Have to wait and see. But if they are, then I want to get on that with a fully fertilised crop. There we go. How many more stacks have I got? Oh, just one. Oh yeah, so they all fit quite nicely in there. And that's 24 bales plus the one that's kind of lurking over there. So 25 bales available. This should be enough. And if it's not, if we start using up a lot of bales in the next couple of days, then we know that we've got plenty of opportunity to make additional hay bales as the year rolls on. We've still got a second cut to come on the field here, which will more than likely just be going straight to the BGA again. And then a third cut, maybe even a fourth cut, and certainly a third and a fourth cut at the main farm as well. So, yeah, we've still got loads of opportunity to do that. So I'm going to go and return these spikes to Sam. They were on a temporary lease, so we'll get those returned, and then we'll head back and start shifting bales at the main farm. Okay, looks like the sprayer has run out. Made a nice little indentation on the amount of bales here that still need to be stacked away, but we need to make sure that our sprayer is running. We have a lot of stuff to do, so we need to go and refill that. Oh, and it looks as though while we've been doing this, our rollers have been delivered. They have arrived. That's great to see. There's a reason to open that, you'll see in a second. I'm going to go grab our pickup truck, and we are going to do our mobile fertilisation top-up routine. And because I didn't want to store a lot of potentially, dangerous chemicals in my garage. Oh, look, the pickup's not in there, is it? I've got to go and get in the truck. I parked it over there. I left the trailer full of pallets of fertilizer, liquid fertilizer, inside the workshop. So let's drive in there. There it is. Let's get this connected up. There we go. Handling wise, it handles pretty well, but it is slow to accelerate with a load this heavy. But it can manage it pretty well. It doesn't bounce all over the roads, out of control. It's pretty stable. I'm pretty happy with the way this truck is handling these 8 pallets of liquid fertilizer. Just have to be careful on, as I say, accelerating and braking. Make sure I'm not... It takes a while to accelerate, and I've got to be careful I don't slam the brakes on too hard or brake too late in case I career out of control with all that extra weight pushing behind me. So the worker is currently spraying away on field 51, which is one of our cornfields. I think, is that him there? I think that's him. We can just see half a spray. It's on the front wheels. I can't see the back wheels. We can see the front wheels. There's our orchard coming into view. So we'll get this guy topped up. Yeah, he's going to have to come off the field. We can't drive through that, obviously. Let's pull over to the side here. There we go. Let's go grab the sprayer, bring it over. This corn's looking nice. Not there yet. It's not ready yet for jaffing, but... Well, this is actually for harvesting. That's something else. I forgot to speak to Sam about getting the header. Ah, dear oh dear. So I'm going to have to phone him up. because I'm not driving. Well, actually, no. We've got to go back and collect our animal trailer. If he gets it before close of business, as he said he would do, then we can go back and we can collect that from him and arrange for a header as well. So that's going to be another... I'm guessing the header's probably going to cost me somewhere in the region of about 40 grand or so, maybe a little bit less, because we don't want a massive one, but 30 to 40,000 for the header, and we're going to need a trailer for it as well. So yeah, maybe 40 to 50 grand it could cost us. Not cheap, but we've got 2 big fields of corn, so we do need that header. There we go, fully stocked up. So we'll get this back on the corn, and once it's done, actually, just to make sure he doesn't spray into the wrong field like he has a tendency to do, I will make sure we control where he needs to go. Let's get the booms down, and off we go. This way there's going to be no risk of him spraying where he shouldn't be spraying. There we go. That's worked out quite well, actually. We've just finished the baling and our worker has just finished spraying. Couldn't have timed that better if we tried. So, let's drop the forks off, where I usually store them, just in here. One thing I do need to do is hook up to the bucket so that I can just clean up after the cows. There we go, it's the forks dropped off. Now the bucket is just around the corner, over by my little mini TMR shed. And there is a bit of TMR in there already. I did mix up some just to use up some of our bales, our silage bales. I'm not close enough. There we go. So I'll just show you how much we've got. It's not a massive amount, but it's enough. That's going to keep us going for a little while before we need to make some more TMR. Let's scooch that door open. And yeah, there is a bit of mess in there, isn't there? So we're going to need to deal with that. There's that rogue straw bale that we didn't need. I hate the way trying to get the camera angle the right way round. There we go. Let's scoop up all of the grass. It's really neat and compact. You can, if you're careful, you can actually get it just in a single pass. And it looks as though we might have too much grass in the food trough, otherwise that should go in. Let's just quickly check our stats. No, we do have a space. Oh, more has popped up already, look. Alright, let's see. Sometimes mappers do tend to code their food troughs so that you can only stick in certain food troughs, food types in food troughs. But there we go. It will actually let us in. There we go. That's good. So that grass will help go back into the grass trough over around the corner. Drop the bucket back off again. We don't need that for a little while. There we go. Get the door rolled up. I should do the same on the other side actually as well. Go. Things are coming along quite nicely. So I'm going to drop the weight. Actually, I'm going to drop the whole fork set here as well. I'll need the bucket again before I need the forks. So we'll drop the weight off. We're going to use our brand new rollers to start rolling down our grass field. Oops, just nudged them there. It was a bit of a mistake. So these are the ones that Sam had delivered for us. They're essentially exactly the same as the ones we already have. These are in weeder configuration, but there's no seed tank with these ones. Although, surprisingly, they do have a 6,000 litre capacity still. Quite sure what for. So I'm going to use these to weed out this grass field here, and we're going to get a worker to do this field for us so we can concentrate on getting some spraying done making sure all of our fields get, that need spraying, get done before the end of the day, because this is really kind of our last window, I think, before some of our crops might actually be ready to harvest. And I want to make sure that's just done and out of the way. We won't have to worry about fertilizing again after this. So I'm going to put in a manual headland at this end, just simply because of these telegraph poles. And I'm going to do it double width. And then we'll turn the worker loose and get him to run up and down this field. And if we get time, we will come back and we will help out. We still, I think, need to put a second stage of application on field 24 over by the sheep as well. So we might have to double team that field a little bit later, me and a worker. We'll see how that goes. There we go. So we've started on this edge. Across a little bit more. And there we go, worker hired. So you can hire a worker with this particular set, just not with the one we have, unless you're trying to plant. Right, we need to get to the sprayer. Where is the sprayer? Oh, he's here on the edge of field 51, and there's our truck. So when we get to the end here, you can see our sprayer, when he was doing 45, went onto the wrong field and sprayed a strip of the grass field. He does have a tendency to do that. I'm going to have words with him, because if he keeps it up, I'm going to fire him from the farm and replace him with someone else. That's 3 times now he's done that. Once on the grass field, last year, once this year, and of course, don't forget, he also put some slurry down on our corn when I really didn't want him to. So, yeah, a bit naughty of him, and he's had 3 strikes now against him. That's it. 3 chances. Next time he does that, he's gone, and he'll be replaced with another worker. But we're going to jump out now that we've reached the end, and we'll run along, jump into our sprayer and our truck, and we'll start work on this field here, which I think is 48. Yeah, we'll get field 48 sprayed, and then from there we're going to take the sprayer up to fields 5 and 6, get those done, and then see what else needs to be done after that. Sam has called us and told us that our new trailer is available for collection. So we are here, and there it is. There is our brand new animal trailer. It's a brawn animal trailer. Slightly larger than what we've used before. So I think we can get 24 sheep in this. Not sure about pigs. And I think 9 cows. So definitely a larger capacity than what we used to. And it cost us about 8 grand once we traded in our Betimax, so it's not too bad price-wise, not too bad at all. In fact, I think we possibly, did quite well out of the Betimax, seeing as we bought that at 15% off, and I'm pretty sure we got a standard rate sale for it. So 17 grand is what we got back for the Betimax. Before we pull away, I forgot. We need to speak to Sam, don't we, about getting a new header. Let's pop in and have a chat with him. I'll arrange for that new header and a trailer to mount that on as well. I wonder what that's going to do to our bank balance. I'm not entirely sure how much this is going to cost me. There, we'll park up. There we go. We'll pop in the office and we'll make the arrangements. Okay, we're on our way back to the farm, having dealt with Sam and ordered the equipment that we need, and there is our brand new animal trailer. It's very, very snazzy. I'm not sure where exactly I'm going to park this just yet. You can see there's our Puma rolling away on our grass field for us. That does look good. Does look very good looking like that with those rollers. Yeah, we need to figure out exactly where we're going to store this, so until I've figured that out, I'm just going to leave it out here for now. There we go. And I want to pop in the office so we can kind of review our financial situation. after what has turned out to be quite an expensive day today. So you can see that we have spent $337,000 on new equipment today. So that is the Puma that we've not the Puma, sorry, the CVX, the Optum 300 CVX that's going to arrive tomorrow. That's also the header for our combine and a trailer for the header as well. And because I've gone for the case 12-row header, then it'll be delivered at the same time as our Optum. We've managed to get that expressed onto a single order, which is really quite helpful in terms of getting them both in at the same time. That's also our new animal trailer, although as you can see below, we did save $17,000 as a rebate kind of thing, a credit note for trading in and selling off our Betamax animal trailer. So effectively we spent about $320,000, and then part of that was also buying those new rollers as well. So that's kind of how much money we've spent today. It's been quite an expensive day. You can see our orchard chucking out some very nice money every day here. Of course, that's going to become sort of unusable towards the end of autumn, and then all through winter, and probably the first couple of days of spring we might not be able to use it either. So it's going to be great when we've got it, and then it's going to sit dormant for 3 or 4 months before we can start firing it back up again. And it cost us an absolute fortune to get going. But our loan is now back up to just over $1 million, which is a little bit of a shame. Got it down to 750, and we're back over $1 million already. That's frustrating. Right, we need to carry on with our spraying. I'm just going to go and close this door here. Keep our bales nice and protected. I forgot to do that earlier. There we go. And we'll nip through here. And we'll make our way over to the sprayer, jump in that and take control and start spraying the rest of our fields. So it turns out our worker actually got wedged in the trees and needed help. But he hasn't quite done the whole width of this section here, but he has done a lot. If we look at our spray overlay here, you can see he's done a large chunk of the field there. So we're going to finish off the awkward bit around the left hand corner and then get the thin strip running up the side to finish this field off. Then we're going to go tag fields 5 and 6, and then from there field 50 is the last of our fields that needs to be sprayed. We are going to need to roll, once we finished rolling field 44, we're going to need to roll 24, because that is going to grow overnight. So we've got a few spray jobs and fertilising jobs left to do, and we'll have to take both rollers over to the sheep pen. We'll do some manual bits, and the worker can run up and down and do the long stuff while we do all the fiddly stuff on field 24. That's going to work out quite well, I think. So field 50 is going to be the hardest field to spray, just simply again because the island's in the middle, but we should, I think, be able to get everything done before it gets too late at night. So we're making our way over to fields 5 and 6, fully filled up. I think I'm holding up traffic, or at least I know I was for a little while. I'm hoping that some of it turned off there. Nope, I was definitely. Oh yeah, a few cars that we were holding up there. Never mind. It needs to be done. So we'll get these 2 fields sprayed, and then we'll hopefully have enough spray to tackle both of these. We won't have to go back and refill. If we do, I don't really want to buy a pallet because I won't need to use it all up. We've still got pallets back at the farm on the back of the truck. So we'll get these 2 sprayed. Then we'll tackle field 50 with a worker. We still need to get the grass rolled, and time's ticking on. It's getting to 5 in the evening. So it could end up actually being a late one, which I really was hoping we could get a reasonably early night tonight, with the chance of that harvest perhaps being ready tomorrow, or at least this corn maybe being ready for chaffing tomorrow. Kind of wanted an early-ish kind of start to the day, and if we end up working really, really late, then that's obviously going to put that plan in jeopardy. We'll see how we go. Fingers crossed. Yeah, it's not going to take me all night to get the rest of these jobs done. So I'll get these 2 fields sprayed, and then we'll move over to 50, and I'll catch up with you at that point. So our worker is busy now spraying away on field 50. All of our other fields that need to be sprayed are done. That's the last of our crop fields that need spraying. And in terms of the other fertilising that needs doing, we're on our way now with the Magnum and some twin skinnies with the seeding roller, as you can see, to go and roll out the headlands on that field. And while we're doing that, the Puma is going to follow us up and start working away on all these sort of straight inside bits while we're doing all the fiddly bits on field 24. The only other thing that's going to need doing is another stage of weeding on field 44 back at the main farm, and we can't do that until that grows, which I think is going to happen overnight. So tomorrow, all that will need to be done fertilisation wise on our farm, on any of our fields, will just be that final stage on field 44. That frees us up for the rest of the year now to concentrate on getting our silage done, getting our corn chaff done, and then, you know, as the crops start to grow in, getting our harvesting done as well. So we're in a really good position now. We've got all of the important, you know, kind of time-consuming stuff out of the way, and we are free to concentrate on the important stuff that needs to be done. So, you know, the silage, the harvest, and taking care of our animals. That's a really strong position to be in, I think, and it's going to make things a lot easier as we move into what could potentially be, looking at our weather chart, what could potentially be quite a wet autumn. So without having to worry about all that stuff, being able to get that stuff kind of done with no fertilization worries in the background or anything like that, that's really going to take a little bit of pressure off. And with a new tractor turning up tomorrow, our CVX, and our header, there's no more equipment needs that we have to worry about for the rest of this year either. We should be pretty much covered on our equipment requirements for the rest of this year. The only other thing we could possibly look at is getting a second truck before winter, so that when winter does turn up and we have those crop sales, if we have a lot of product to sell, and I think we're going to, then it enables us to double sell at a single point, have two trucks coordinating to really maximize just how much we can get out of a sell point. So that is the end of another day really here on the farm. Thank you all for joining me. Tomorrow, depending on how things go with crop growths overnight, we could be going straight into chaffing, but at the very least I think this field will be ready for another sort of round of mowing to turn into silage. So we'll have some work to do tomorrow. No doubt we'll have to probably feed our cattle at some point tomorrow, or maybe the day after. We've got plenty of jobs still lined up, and who knows, we may, if we're really lucky, we may even be able to start bringing in some of our grains as well, maybe some of our wheat or barley or canola. So that's it from me. Thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob, and I'll be back with another episode of Lone Oak Farm very soon.